like this, so please bear with me during all of this. For this one, I want to focus on what it's like when you go extinct, and then also go through the prototype stages and other things that you can find within the editor. So to start out with, we have the game menu. You can go between easy, which will change stats here to lower stats, normal, which is what I usually play on and what these will all be done on. Here we have most things have gone up to 1. We have hard. I don't think I've ever played on hard myself because it might be a little too hard for me. And custom, if you want to change around any of these modifiers to your own liking. But go to normal. And this, always going to have this off just so we can have any part we want to use. Life origin, usually it will be just hydrothermal vents, so turn that back on. So you only have hydrothermal vents and one little pond. I'm never going to start here, I'm always going to start with the hydrothermal vents, since that's how life on Earth possibly started. And then when you don't have lock on only, you can get panspermia. This might be a bit of a harder start, as you will have other cells that have already evolved in different shapes, and you will start with the basic one cellular little blob. And random planet seed, not much is really factored into here yet at the moment, as we haven't done much work on it. Other things, I'm always going to keep the fog war on unless I want to do stuff with the patches and show off the patches a bit. And then I always like to leave this on just for safety, especially when moving to new areas. We're not going to be doing this, ever. And we're always going to keep these locked as well. And planet editor will hopefully show up at some point soon. Always going to leave day-night cycle on. World size. I'm leave it at medium for now. We may take a look at smaller, large ones at some point. Day length, you can change this if you want. I just leave it as is. Of course, once again, planet generator coming soon. Miscellaneous. I'm generally going to leave this on because I don't come to this that often, but we will be looking into it in this video. There is an Easter egg, but it is very rare, so if we see it, well, that'll be really nice. And I'm going to leave this off for now because we want a stable version of the game, so I don't have crashes. Alright. Basic. Let's start the game. And we'll be playing this without the tutorial. So if you need to have the tutorials, you can definitely put it on. It'll walk you through things a bit slower, but I'm going to be doing it without it because I played this game a few times. By a few, I mean quite a bit. So the tutorial will tell you about the various compound clouds you want to collect. The white here is glucose. You need that for the bar here. Get ammonia, which is this orange colored one. You can see it filled up the bar, and it'll help fill this bar here faster. I got over here hydrogen sulfide. It's a yellowish. There's a darker red iron cloud. Zoom in on that. Cloud here, there's an iron chunk there. Got a phosphate cloud right here, which is purple. It'll fill up the phosphate bar down there and speed up the phosphate accumulation over here in order to evolve. And since I'm paused, some other things to note. Environment conditions here, there's no oxygen yet. There's 30% CO2 and 60% nitrogen in this area. Temperature is at 104 degrees Celsius, and there's no light, and then 22.13 megapascals for pressure. Some of these things will become important to survival later on, and you can also make them window smaller. Compounds. Right now, it's only just glucose, ammonia, and phosphate. You can also shrink it down here, but you can get sulfide, iron. Let's see if I can see it. I don't see it, but you can also have radiation available, temperature. You can also become photosynthetic later on if you want. Also have cell processes. Oh, hello, tutorial. I'll leave that right there for a moment. Yes, and your various cell processes will show up in here as they're being done. So you can see that, and then obviously it's going to affect your ATP bar here, and it could also end up affecting your health if you lose your ATP. That's not what I want to do, but there's a 2-time mode. I'll be using that probably later on a bit. There's a if you just want to restart, but I do believe that might affect your species survival rate. So I've never really done it myself. But we shall continue. Also, there is a fossilization. Ability to fossilize your species, and this is the starter cell data kit. It's a single hex of cytoplasm, really cute, and perfect name. Of course, at this very moment, we're the only living thing on the planet. So even if I were to pause, pull this up, open this, go to the tree, we see that there's only us. Then we have also, I'm going to quickly jump to the patch map. See, we can only see where we are, one thing next to us, and then one thing above that. So we don't see a lot right now. We can also see compound and other conditions that change in these areas. We will be talking about those when needed, but of course, since this is going to be all about initially what extinction is like, it will be different. Also, we got a floating hazard area, so be careful of those when you're playing. I'm going to use my squint for a bit. Go a bit faster, but if you go too long, you start to run out of your ATP like that. And there's a radiation chunk. As you can see, I'm almost done with phosphate, so I'm going to focus on the ammonia now. Weird voice crack there. Bit of a lag spike, I noticed. Also, for those wondering who exactly I am a member of the theory team for Thrive. You may have seen me pop into a number of the live streams from time to time. And I'm doing this just so people can see different playstyles and just other things they may want to try with the game. Alright, so I'm not going to go too much into the details and coding stuff with AutoEvo itself, but here we can see that there has been some more species that have shown up now. Oh, and we have some meteorite impacts. Maybe we'll see one of those. Probably not, since they're generally on the surface, but important to know when you're near the surface about how these can affect things. And glucose concentrations have decreased by 10%, so we're going to have to start figuring out ways to make glucose soon. As you can see, got our cells. We have not done any changes yet, but we've also increased by quite a bit. Got Keratin inese, new species, Nucilium toxolis, another new species that looks like might be thermal. This looks like it's iron. That thing is sulfide. We'll check the food chain to be sure. But Unculea eatus has also joined the party. Here, alright, so they, iron sulfide, heat, iron, and we're just glucose still. And the timeline, if you want to look at this, there's also the global version. Oh, you can see that pops up. And we can see also where some of these split off from if you want to look at that. And the patch map. So for this, we're going to just stay down here. I am going to be evolving the species a bit before I start to try and murder it through poor decisions so we can look at how extinction works. But you can also look at what is present in the patches so we see all the species here. This is something as well that shows just how attempts were made to, I believe, these were attempts to create new species. I believe it was Game Dungeon who worked on this. He would probably know a bit more about how it works because I'm not really good with the coding side of stuff. I just have my biochem degree. But yeah, we're gonna just sit here, go to the editor. We can see we have our stats here: health, storage, speed, rotation speed, ATP production, use of ATP. And also you can use this with movement. So if we're sitting around, oh, we only use 1. We're moving around, well, we're using 2 as we make 3, so we get a net gain of 1. And balance currently, we're going to lose ATP. You would only ever see a gain of not ATP, glucose, sorry. You'll only ever see a gain in glucose if you are doing photosynthesis and you have managed to produce more glucose than you're using in order to create ATP, or if you're also using some other things to create ATP and don't need to use just glucose. And storage capacity, showing how much we'll hit the storage capacity of glucose, I believe. Some other cell processes. So right now we just got cytoplasm glycolysis, pretty decent, but we're going to want to work on that. Digestion speed, digestion efficiency, cost to go to a new generation. As we get more parts, it will be increased. We also got auto evo. We're going to hit this because this is how auto evo works. It's a bit complicated again, but it shows right now. We're probably going to go down a bit if we don't do much changes. But over here we have the editor itself. You can change the name, which we will do to reflect that we are going to be going extinct with this species. Have our parts over here. I almost never put cytoplasm on, but you'll see that the auto evo tends to add a lot of that onto the other cells it creates. Have what we have here, some basic protein parts. We have more we can unlock over time. Some external parts we can use. Also, this one uses a nucleus, and then some other things that can be unlocked over time. Organelles that are unlocked once you get the nucleus. So not important for us. We might throw that on to actually cause our cell to go extinct. And if symbiosis requires the nucleus again, you can make getting some things a bit easier. Then we got the membrane type. We're not going to change it for this at all. But we got normal and double. Then we have cellulose, which you'll see on plants. These are generally animal and other stuff here. But you will see these in some other microbes in real life. And how you want to have a... So this is to change the fluidity of your membrane. You can get more health. It's less health, but more speed. Or more health, but less speed. Then you can change the color of your cell. This doesn't do a whole lot at the moment, but on occasion, some of these cells that auto evo creates might have colors that match with the background, and you might actually not be able to see them. So while camouflage is not really selected for by auto evo, it may actually impact how some species behave and actually handle things. We're going to try and make ours kind of a greenish so we can see it a bit better. Behavior, I try not to move this all around a whole lot. I don't know how much of an effect this has really, but I do believe it does affect the auto evo prediction. Growth order for if you want to grow certain things differently than tolerances. You may also mess with these a bit to increase the chance of our species going extinct later. But for now, we're going to act like I am trying to survive. And to show off that, I'm going to throw that in. And let's throw this in so we can get 2 different things to show up. Alright, so as you can see, we have used some things. We have only 5 mutation points left out of the 100 that we had. Nothing else we can do, so we are going to finish this. A little, that should be lowercase. May as well do a bit of a Warhammer reference there. You know, terminology shows up a bit in that. And off we go. So now, you're going to see that we have this little bar here for temperature. Let me hit this. You'll see patches of colder and warmer areas that will help increase ATP through the temperature gauge. And then we also now have an iron bar down here. So we can now go to these areas here to increase our iron storage, which will help us generate things. Okay, there's the cell process now that we're moving. You can see basic glycolysis, thermosynthesis, which is pretty decent still. Also, that is also decent. The iron oxidation, it produces quite a bit, so people do use it quite often, but don't let it be the only thing you use, because it can also not work out after a while if you only have that available. Yes, you can also go, there's some radiation there. We're going to stay away from that. Although, I'm going to take a quick whisk. Whoop. might later allow for me to actually gain be able to do radiation, but of course I'm gonna go extinct. So we may also use this to actually, once again, take ourselves out a bit quicker. So there I just used my engulf G to engulf this other cell. Yet, oscillating thing can be a little wonky sometimes, so do bear with that. So we currently have this guy inside of us. You can see we now have an ingested matter bar that showed up, and over time, just hit this so we can watch. You'll slowly see it eventually break apart. Oh, there goes. And we release some other stuff as well. But also, the reason we're going to be evolving ourselves to be not as adaptive is that it'll help our AI controlled buddies go extinct a bit quicker, so that it's not just us having to take ourselves out. And also, our current behavior with these other cellular organisms will affect their survivability as well. And as you can see, I've actually had, move this out of the way, you'll see that this is increased because I have likely increased my cellulose little hex, so I have another one of those on me now. But this is also updated now, thankfully. But yep, the storage has now increased to 1.5. Go there. And we can now enter the editor. Try and get a bit more glucose before we do that if I can. Oh. Looks like something has potentially gone extinct in the patch. But not overall. Well, looks like the game doesn't really know how to handle our creature here. That's interesting. Timeline. So distribution of the patch. Globally. Ooh, there's an eruption, I think, going on in our patch, perhaps. Let's see, patch map. Yes, so there are events. These were added in the recent update. You can get eruptions, I think, mainly in the hydrothermal events, maybe in some other lower patches. There's going to be more hydrogen sulfide and carbon dioxide, so we're going to make sure we can make some use of the hydrogen sulfide. Now, this is something else we can see because we're not going to be moving. So we still have down there. Let's actually do that. Replace that there. Oh, now we're looking much better. And we're going to be a bit easier. We're going to just chuck that on. I'm going to leave this as well. No change behavior or anything. You can see we actually, because we took radiation damage, we'll be able to get this if we were to continue living longer. And over here we see HB production has certain things. Synthesis proteins, hydrogenase, ursin, and thermosynthetase. So we're making about 16.5 ATP, and we use about 8 now. So we're looking good at the moment. It's a great start to surviving. Big cut of iron over here. Interesting. Also, I didn't do it before. Let's take a look at evolution tree. Alright, so we had more species come off of us, so we can see here. And these two species going well, but their splits here reduce. I do love that this does happen occasionally in the game. I don't know why it does, but premium thriving seems to be a really loved design on occasion, especially early on. But yeah, that's probably actually what this guy is. Yep, it's a little single X cell friend again. although it generally doesn't last very long. The thing to note is if your cell is too small, other cells will try and engulf you in order to hunt you down, in order to get their phosphate, ammonia, glucose that you have stored in you. And if you can unlock the piluses or toxin vacuoles, you can actually deal damage to them when they consume you, or do damage as they approach you in order to survive. Some extinctions. Oh boy, yes we have. I'm gonna take a look what that looks like on the evolutionary tree in a bit. Let's see. Alright, so you can see some trees have moved to this new patch as well. You can't see anything there. Here, decent amount of species as well. Alright. Also, I probably should have mentioned earlier that it's a button down here to undo, redo. Also, mirror parts a lot more. However, you generally don't end up using these a whole lot early on because, well, even 22 at this point, at my current, let's actually get rid of these. So at 100, if I do this, well, I would hit -32 if I did this. And also, well, 2 of them here aren't even attached to the cell, so I probably wouldn't even be able to pull it off. Extinct. This is actually, in fact, a suggestion I made a while back when they implemented the evolutionary tree. These used to be here, which would be kind of confusing. So now it'll extend outward 1 and then show up as red to show, hey, the species is going to run extinct at this point. You can see an extinction down here with our little single cytoplasm friend. Oop, and there's a pilus. That will not be a fun individual to interact with anymore. But I don't think they're in our patch at all, so don't have to worry. Well, we got another single cytoplasm showing up. As I said, these seem to be really liked a lot for some unknown reason. And there's a variant of us that has a pilus on it, and a variant that I think just got rid of the thermosynthase and move 1 part down. Interesting. bench. So we gotta be careful. As you can see, these spikes do hurt other cells, although at least gameplay-wise, they don't hurt friendly cells. So I can eat one. Oh. That hurt. Seems like they like to keep their spikes close to their enemies. Good to know. At this point, I think I'm going to start showing off the extinction process. Well, we have decrease. Kind of tell it's going to happen. So, with this, I'm going to just throw on in because, well, it would take a lot of ATP to use. So this is going to start making us go down quickly. For the fun of it, I'll also throw this on to use up even more ATP. Because yes, it does use ATP. I'm not entirely sure why, but it does. Gotta keep it functioning somehow. And as you can see, our ATP is already at 0 because we cannot handle it. And we've become extremely slow. Actually, I'll do that to speed it up a bit, I think. Or not. But you can see, if we completely hit it, we cannot sustain ourselves at all. We're slowly dying. We also have a massive population, so this will take quite a while to go extinct. The population has dropped a bit. As you can see, we're dropping down hydrogen sulfide and iron pretty fast in order to increase our glucose. That won't help us very long. All the glucose we can have is done, and now we're going to run out of iron soon, and we're going to start dying again. And there we go, we're starting to take damage. But we may as well play like we're trying to survive. Also, yes, as a cell does get bigger, it will also have a bigger range to pick up items. Right now we're like just barely making enough ATP to keep us going. Or not. As we left that iron area, it looks like we're starting to take damage. And damage will, as long as you have ATP for it, will heal over time. So I've decided to stop moving. We can see that my ATP bar has shown up and I am regaining health. But just for turning, I am using a bit of ATP. And now, dying once again. Iron has become quite low. That's probably the reason. Well, we did a decent, I don't know, getting ammonium phosphate though. So yes, you can pull this stuff off, and if you're lucky, you can survive for a while with bad builds. You just have to, to quickly get what you need to generate the ATP within a few generations, but you will suffer population-wise for quite a bit if you try to pull it off. So I would say, for getting the nucleus, make sure you have the ATP before you apply the nucleus on. It makes it a lot easier to play. Let's go to this radioactive chunk and start taking damage. Well, guess I might actually die before that. So, I should also pull this up a bit earlier. Let's see, a number of extinctions occurred as well, that generation. And, oh, this is probably much more well-adapted species than what we became. Time to get some radiation. You'll see population has dropped quite a bit since from what we started with prior to this terrible mutation of ours. Let's also pull this up again so we can take a look at how temperature looks again. Also, let's hit this to speed up the death. This is going kind of slow. But also, to be clear, when I go to show off the prototype stages, I will be doing this and using the cheats, which can be activated. I'll show the button on how to do that. We're now down to 888 trillion individuals, I believe. because I somehow managed to make it to the editor. Let's actually go in the editor. So, that also does show that, yeah, it is possible to live with these terrible builds if you're lucky. And I was really lucky because I wasn't even focusing on it, but yes, we have dropped a lot. Food chain. So, see, there's been a few extinctions I saw. It's global. There is. Yeah, got a number of extinctions. Patch map, we're still going to stay down here. The species has dwindled here. Looks like we might have even up to at least 101 in that regard. At least for how it balances things out. So, of course, not do anything to make our lives easier. We're gonna just make things even harder. Also, to move like this, it's the A and D W. So A goes this way, D goes that way. Undo that actually. Put it right there. I got it. 45 left. May as well try to show this off before I die. Should just go down there. I'm being silly. Use that as a Wi-Fi. And of course, you do get the warning that HP production is way too low. You'd want to have these reversed, of course, normally. Somehow, it says we're gonna go up this. That'll be interesting. That could also be based on. Oh boy, we were taking quite a bit of damage. Really fast. Well, I'm gonna let this slowly take us out. We're down to 47 trillion population. Immediately taking damage. This is why you want to make sure you can actually sustain yourself before doing a nucleus. 11 trillion left. This might be the last time we have to die before we go extinct. Nope. One more time. Oh, nope, that was it. So yes, this is the extinction screen. So we are now going to. I will not be showing off the prototype stages. Also, another nice neat background. So we're gonna. Thanks. Obviously nothing changing here. Go back to basic. Actually, let's. So I've never done them before, and I'm actually gonna be going up to the service. Let's try large. I have never done that before. Escape to get through that. We've already seen it. Don't need the tutorial. And since I would, options, miscellaneous. Is it here? Go back to so in the menu, hit options, go to miscellaneous, right here, cheat keys enabled. I do not know if you can see. Maybe inputs. Yes, here. Cheat keys are here. P is editor, O is glucose, L is ammonia, K is phosphate, then there's a additional cheat menu. I generally have not actually hit that button. But yes, so that's if you want to have the cheat menu available just to ways to see new things, especially as you begin to work in later stages, in case you cannot continue on with the save game. That is how you activate your cheats. And you shall be seeing me do it right now. It's also time to mention, oh, we got this new thing here. That's because of the tolerances. I'm gonna just shove that down. So if I can, alright, so if I can figure out how to edit things properly, I will hopefully not have this in 2 videos, but my brother just came in to ask me to play Helldivers, which I will be doing once I finish this up. I'm gonna jump up here. Also, yeah, let's talk about the patches as well. So we got the hydrothermal vents, volcanic vents, a sea floor, and the bathypelagic, unknown patch there. But as you can see, we're going to start branching out into new sections soon. Toxins, pressure down. Also get that UV up because we're going to need it. I'm just taking care of the UV part first before we need to actually worry about it. And we're not even paying attention to any of this because we're racing on up. So now we're in the mesopelagic, and above us is amphipelagic, basically the top of the ocean. Just where you can now see we got sunlight. I want to get that up more, get this down. Maybe I can add some in here. So we're going to need to actually add some things to actually do this. Notice some more things and more sections of our world. There is a basic meteorite impact. They just add some carbon dioxide levels to the area. I don't know if we have any others we can see. Does not look like it. Let's see what we got here. We got another basic one right there. Actually, move these just so I can open up a few more areas for us to look at and talk about. Coastal areas. We also got caves. Not to be visiting, but I'm gonna move to that coastal area because I like the tide pool. Alright. There. Also randomize the name. And always with this, you always have to have 2 parts in the name, since it is for scientific accuracy. Oxygen takes over. Carbon dioxide, as they will always be raising carbon dioxide, but this one is the phosphate meteor. As you can tell, it's a bit purplish pink. We got an eruption down there. Nothing else of note. return by using mutation points. Eruption is still going on, but nothing else of note. Actually mess with the behaviors. What do you want to be? Sessile, fearful, cautious, peaceful. Yes, responsive. Alright. Also gonna inject a bunch of glucose to our cell here. Having something happen to it. Interesting. Well, I might actually have to redo this, so hold on a moment. Alright, so I had to start again. I decided to do a bit of a different start to be on the surface. I'm just at this point now. Hopefully, we're going to hit this before the glaciation event occurs. Add up a bit. Event actually well done, as this event decreases light and also the temperature. So we're now going to have issues here, so we got to drop down, put that up. This happens once photosynthesis becomes quite commonplace in your world. This on so I can tell my other buddies to get away from me. Spit my origin. Why not? I'll pretend like I'm being a full plane here. So you choose single agent, we got this. Hit V, you do no command, follow me, move to me, flee, become aggressive. When you're trying to get to the first prototype stage, I advise do move to me so they come closer to you, but you need a binding agent to pull that off. I'm going to be using flee so that they should hopefully start moving away from me. This one doesn't have a single agent, so it does not realize that it needs to move away. That's fine. Glaciation event does stay for quite a while. And also, take advantage of this. Let's get through 5. Alright, so we're just going to speed through the generations. So I'm not all that concerned about how. So easily our creature can actually survive this time around. Oh, so the chances have gone back there. So the glaciation event has ended. It was 2 rounds. Also, I changed it to a small world, so maybe it was because I was on a big world that I had that issue earlier. I'm gonna move out of here actually. A little hard. Sulfur meteorite impact. Interesting. There's the bite here. That's what I was waiting for. Alright. Also short. This. It's not moving. So you hit B to bind. Yes, there's. You hear that because we're kind of sticking to it. Alright. Lavender. Also should. It cheats to do this. As you can see now, we have a bar off to the side over here that says become multicellular. Also, because we have a certain due to the memory here, we are not able to engulf anymore. But yes, once you get 5 members together, we can hit this and we can enter the basic multicellular stage. So this is our first prototype stage. It is going to look kind of complete given it is using the 2D game. But it does kind of also say that we die off, which is not knowing we actually included that. That is kind of cool. And so patch map won't really change at all. The editor is now different. Have duplicate types and making new cell types. I'll actually do that for at least a brain, because why not? I'm gonna modify it. Got all this stuff for now. All this fun stuff. This is just simply gonna be a different thing. I'm gonna get rid of this version of macro for now. Let's slap one in there. And the stem. We're gonna need 20 cells in order to pull this off. But also, because it is much near us, we're gonna now tell them to flee. Before I even start doing this, I'm gonna make sure I have enough cells together first. so we don't have to keep on adding glucose once I'm ready to show you the really prototype stages. I'm gonna make sure I get some mitochondria into both of these. And also everything becomes a lot cheaper at this point. That should also now change the way they look. Should be enough, so I'm gonna move in this way. Start up with the ammonium phosphate. Let's hit this to speed things up. Because this is gonna be a very, very slow process. And yes, we do still have gaps between the cells for now. It does happen. This is a work in progress game. Please bear with all of us volunteers. Also, I've not been in this stage since we did the tutorial, so I do believe the nerve and some muscle stuff do show up in this stage. It just may not be showing up because the tutorial has not allowed it to happen yet. I just want to kick up the glucose for a moment until we start to get the light back. Also, you can see the bioluminescent vacuoles glowing as well. Nice feature. We're gonna try to figure out some effect they can have besides just oxygen resistance. Potentially, if my suggestion goes through, possibly something to do with hunting, especially in the 3D stages. Of course, we have this little bar here, so it's become microscopic. This is why I wanted to get 20 things, because we need to have 20 cells in order to actually become macroscopic. I might have said microscopic. I meant to say macroscopic. Also, for whatever reason, it looks like our brain does not want to interact with the other ones as easily. It's quite intriguing. We just need 5 more cells to form in, and then we can 4 more now. And we'll have the very basic gameplay for 3D stages to show off. Right there in this artwork, and I think this is a brand new piece of art. I've never seen that one before. So this is still gonna be generally the same moment. Now this, like, things are now kind of interesting. Okay, yeah. Editor controls do change a bit. Let's see different colored balls here. These balls are cells. Ooh, that looks funky. Let's try and make it look more normal. Not so snake-like. Would be nice. at this point, only thing in the water. And there's no actual gameplay at the moment, really, for these. Just the fun of checking it out. Old mascot. See, the only thing I've been able to see is that we can go up. And that's about it. Can't seem to go down at all. We can move around a bit. You also have to hit, C in order to see your cursor now. You can hit Moonland, which I'm gonna wait a bit. This editor. We're gonna add that accent on. This. Hit the right buttons. Some mitochondria in here. So let's add a bit more of the brain over here. Well, now see that actually our awaken thing has changed a little bit because we have gained. Oh boy, can I? I'm not allowed to. Oh, there we go. As I said, it's a very basic game, so things are so a little wonky. Go back to here. Under, let's add that second mitochondria on now. Boom. Now, I'm actually not going to mess with these at all. I'm going to just start stacking more of the brain cell type we made. Of course, you can change colors in order to get things that can look like eyes if you want. You can even make things that are very clearly meant to be limbs. We're just making a big blob of a brain. It should be enough for us to move onwards. Alright, so we're first going to move to land. This will, of course, as it stated, will be a much simpler transition than that was, in fact. Little slug. Alright, now we're gonna hit awaken. Now then, let's go grab rock. Ourselves an X. I want to say that might be a new glitch, but then again, this will be like. No, not these. Definitely a little freaked out. It's normal. 2. Oh, he's on the ground. What you need? One iron. Oh, rock, I guess. This, I believe. The wood. The wood. evolving their species even at this point in the game. You can see we do have this available. I'm just not going to mess with it because there's no real need to mess with it at this point. Just need one more rock. Just go grab this one over here. We'll have to finish our first house. Oh boy. Spinning. Alright. Good. And move to away from it. Here we are. In order to show off the basic society gameplay, as my creature goes off into the void. Up this menu, you need to hit N. And you can see what we got here. We got 5 members. We don't see them all showing up or moving about. But that we'll have more as we create some of these. We're going to be doing a lot of these here. But we're slowly gaining rock and wood. We're going to need to do this. Research this stuff. And see, this is going to have actual gameplay means later on. Now it won't just be an easy click and do thing. Alright, I'm gonna place that there. We've almost researched that. And this is not going to finish being completed until we have 2 more rock and 1 more thing of wood. So we'll have a lot more way to gain rock and wood. I'll let this sit around for a little bit now. So it can be made and we start increasing our production rate. as you can now see, I'm back. Our production rate is increasing much faster than it was before. Still don't have enough for this. And sometimes I even like to bring down more study centers. There's also a thing to notice if you open this up before something is ready, it won't show as being available. Let's also, I've looked at this before, we have this area like soil area. I think this is supposed to be sand texture of some kind, maybe for a beach area or deserts. That's it from it, but also a fun thing you can do. Our main group is over here, because cell prototype stage you can do like things. You can bring this all the way down here. And basically we have another settlement now. Let's see, we're making so much. Production is so high that things are really quick, and also they're all gonna just move down there now. They're abandoning their old home. How sad. This has in fact changed since I was last looking at this. It's actually really cool looking. It used to just be like a square with a city center. Now we got some roads and buildings, and what it seems to be a rocket launch pad. Obviously, pretty bare bones. One. Seems about right, I'd say. But also that rocket has been, in fact, updated since I last looked at it. It's quite cool looking. Looks like a Saturn V rocket almost. Here's a reaction have models now for these ships instead of just the rocket it was before. Better on this side. There's not really anything else there yet. Yes, there is a plan for you to go back onto planets at some point. We want to allow every stage of gameplay. Music a little low, so I'm going to try to talk a bit louder. So we want each stage you play to still have some impact in the laser. So here you should still have some ability to actually create things. edit your cell types and tissues, do some basic changes to your species if you want. Also continue making buildings and cities if you need to. Yeah. And that is Diavetid's current state of development. Also, this will not be the full list at the moment. I believe they only did a quick one when they initially made everything. So sadly, I don't believe I actually show up in here. We shall see, though. Nope, I do not, sadly. But if you want to know who I am JuzoLens214. Well, I hope everyone enjoyed that. Thanks for watching.